Yo, what is going on, Raider Nation? It's your boy Samoa Raider back at it again with another video and another episode of Nation Take, where I take some of your hottest takes and questions and talk about it in a video. And if you guys are interested in getting your take on the next episode, I will be putting out a community post just like this one, and you guys can put all your hottest takes in the comments below, and I will talk about it on the show next Monday. So let's not waste any more time and let's get started with this video.
And you tell them one thing, just win, baby.
Now, before I go on with this video, don't forget to hit that like button and also hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Now, the first take comes from a plethora of people, involving us trading away Derek Carr and starting Marcus Mariota. So shout out to Tim Tackett, JC Willie, and Kenneth Hammer, all saying that we would trade Derek Carr and start Marcus Mariota. Now, Derek Carr is coming off of his best season. He's had a career high in yards per attempt and passer rating. And I know that his level of play has attracted a lot of QB needy teams to call up the Raiders in pursuit of Derek Carr. Now, after hearing that, especially for these teams that really are in desperate need of a quarterback and that are a quarterback away from making a big run in the playoffs, really goes to question, why would we want to even trade him away or be open to trading him away when he wasn't the problem? Now, in a recent article, Tom Pelissero mentioned that the Raiders might be open to trading Derek Carr, saying teams have been calling the Raiders to gouge interest in trading for Carr, and at least right now, the team appears open to considering it in some form or fashion, as long as it can replace him with someone on the same level. Now, there have been a lot of speculations that the Raiders are going to make a move at Deshaun Watson. But again, that wouldn't make sense, especially if we have a starting caliber quarterback and Marcus Mariota already on the team, if we were to trade Derek Carr away. Now, hypothetically speaking, if the Raiders do get a Matthew Stafford-like deal done and the Raiders actually pull the trigger on it, I would focus more on using those picks and assets on building around the quarterback offensively and defensively, and find a young quarterback in the draft that can groom under Marcus Mariota until it's time for him to take over. Looking back at last season, under Derek Carr in this offense, even with the worst defense in the NFL, we were only 2 to 3 games away from being in the playoffs. And even if we did make it into the playoffs, I don't know how far we would have made it because of how bad our defense was. But the fact that we were that close to make it into the playoffs under Derek Carr, why would you want to trade him away? And I know that we keep talking about this in almost every single video and every single week because Derek Carr's name has been talked about since the end of the season. Now, there has been a report that came out today, or rumors that flew around today, that the Raiders are not interested in dealing Derek Carr anymore or listen to any trade offers, but they are listening to offers for Marcus Mariota. Now, as for your take, if and only if we do trade Derek Carr away, one, we better get a good haul for Derek Carr, and two, we should stick with Marcus Mariota as the quarterback until we find that quarterback that can take over for the future. What do you think? Would you trade Derek Carr and move forward with Marcus Mariota? Let me know down in the comments below. Now, the next take comes from Jose Lopez. His take is the Raiders signing Richard Sherman or Earl Thomas to help out Gus Bradley to recreate the Legion of Boom. Now, it is obvious that John Gruden and the Raiders have showed interest in Richard Sherman per Chris Collinsworth's podcast, so I can see that happening for the right price. Now, Earl Thomas, on the other hand, would be tough to decide, especially with his character in the locker room, but maybe that would change under Gus Bradley and John Gruden. Both of these players have played under Gus Bradley in Seattle, where they created the Legion of Boom. Now, in no way am I saying that if the Raiders sign both of these players that we would recreate the Legion of Boom here in Las Vegas. Shit, we need to at least be a top 20 defense in the NFL if we want to consider ourselves an NFL caliber defense. Now, the only way I see us signing one or two of these players onto the team, it would only be for a veteran minimum contract. Now, I know a lot of people are going to say that these players are washed up. Why would we even want to go out and sign Earl Thomas or even Richard Sherman? Now, if we were to sign them, it's not like we're expecting them to be elite or be that primetime player that they once were when they were in Seattle, but they can still make plays on the defensive side. And most importantly, they got the smarts, and they will keep these defensive players accountable, especially in the secondary. We had nobody on the defensive side that could keep these players accountable. So these guys will come in as a leader. And like I said, would be for a veteran minimum, like what we did when we brought in Jason Witten. Did we expect them to be a Pro Bowl tight end on the team? No, we expected them to come in and be that leader for Darren Waller and Foster Moreau. So the same thing goes for Richard Sherman or Earl Thomas if we were to bring them over. Now imagine Earl Thomas and Jonathan Abram on the field at the same time in the secondary and making plays on the defensive side. Whoo-wee! My neck and my back.
My neck and my back.
Now, another player that I do think would benefit a lot from the signing of Richard Sherman would be a guy like Isaiah Johnson. You know, a guy that we drafted about, what, 2 years ago? They are both built the same way. And when Isaiah Johnson got drafted, a lot of people compared him to Richard Sherman. He's that long, lengthy defensive back that can make plays and has the speed to keep up with most of these wide receivers in the league. And we've seen only flashes of Isaiah Johnson, especially in that Chargers game, those back-to-back plays at the end of the game to help us win those games. So I look at that as if Richard Sherman was to sign on, he would lead guys like Isaiah Johnson, Trayvon Mullen, Damon Arnett, and teach them all the things that he knows to help excel these players to be the best that they can be in the future under Gus Bradley. So for the veteran minimum, why not? If you were to ask me, do I see us signing Richard Sherman and or Earl Thomas? I would say yes, especially because of Gus Bradley. But again, there is no way in hell that I see us recreating the Legion of Boom in Las Vegas, but we would be a much better defense than last year. Now the next take comes from Daniel Lopez. He asked, how do you feel about Charles Woodson and Tom Flores becoming Hall of Famers? Now I got 3 words for you. About damn time. The fact that it's taken 22 years for Tom Flores since being eligible to be inducted into the Hall of Fame is beyond me. Looking at all his accolades, being the first Hispanic head coach to win a Super Bowl, and on top of that, he has won 3 Super Bowls, 1 as an assistant head coach and 2 as a head coach of the Raiders. To me, it's crazy that there were a lot of underqualified candidates that got inducted into the Hall of Fame before Tom Flores, but you know what? I'm gonna put that aside. At the end of the day, I'm just happy that Tom Flores has lived to see this day, because you know how the NFL does Raider Hall of Famers. You know, they wait for them to go to actually put them into the Hall, which is sad, but we all see that. I'm happy to see Tom Flores in the Hall of Fame and the fact that he can go and get his jacket in person. Now, as for Charles Woodson, we all knew for a fact that he was going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. If you guys seen his reaction, man, it was priceless, and it was a real feel-good moment to see Charles Woodson actually break down in tears, you know, being happy that he got into the Hall, knowing that he would be in the Hall of Fame.
Because we're here to deliver some great news.
Doing an interview.
I know.
And this what y'all, okay. So now I'm starting to think y'all was in on it.
Now, I know that the NFL are going to try to push him as a Packers Hall of Famer, but we all know that he's a part of the silver and black. And when you hear Charles Woodson, you think about the Raiders, and you know that he's going to represent the nation to the fullest. But I do have to give credit where credit is due. Charles Woodson did his thing when he was in Green Bay, becoming the Defensive Player of the Year and also winning his only ring in the NFL with the Green Bay Packers. So, in due part, he did have a good career with the Green Bay Packers, but at the end of the day, he's a Raider, and he's going into the Hall of Fame as a Raider. And if you're a Packers fan, I don't want to hear it. But overall, man, it's really good to see the Raiders representing in the Hall of Fame, especially another year with Tom Flores and Charles Woodson. And you cannot forget about the Violator being inducted into the Ford Hall of Fans as well, man. We did it. The fact that he won, it feels like the nation won as well. So congratulations to the Violator. And on top of that, we cannot forget about that Al Davis versus the NFL 30 for 30. It just felt like this whole weekend was a win for the Raider Nation. You know, we got the Al Davis documentary. We got 2 Hall of Famers going into the Hall of Fame with the Raiders, and we got to see the Kansas City Queens get their ass whooped in the Super Bowl by the GOAT, Tom Brady. Now the last take comes from Joshua Zolarzano. Hopefully I said your last name right and I did not butcher it, but his take is, if Tyrone Williams is released, that may clear up around $11 million in cap. Should the Raiders sign Nelly or make a move at T.Y. Hilton? Which of the 2 would you take? Now, I know I talked a lot about T.Y. Hilton in my last video, and if you guys haven't checked that out already, go and check it out on the channel. I feel like unless Tyrone Williams does not take a pay cut or restructure his contract, he will be cut from the team, saving $11.5 million in cap for the Raiders, which is good. Now, as for Nelly or T.Y. Hilton, I lean towards Nelly because he's already proved his worth with the team and has built that rapport with Derek Carr. Now, if Nelly still wants to get paid big bucks and the Raiders can't afford to bring him in, then I would look towards T.Y. Hilton and bring him onto this team for a much cheaper deal. I wouldn't want to spend too much money in free agency on a big-time receiver like Allen Robinson, because I know a lot of people want to go get a guy like that, but I would rather save most of that money and get a cheaper veteran to come in and go focus more of that money on the the defensive side. I do believe that if we do sign T.Y. Hilton onto the team, that he could step into that Nelson Aguilar role and excel in it, and he could build that rapport with Derek Carr just like this, because Derek Carr is a really good quarterback. But if money wasn't the issue and I had to choose between T.Y. Hilton and Nelson Aguilar, I would rather run it back with Nelson Aguilar, because I believe that we should keep that same core of guys on the offensive side with little additions and focus more on the defensive side in free agency and the NFL draft. But do you guys agree with me, Raider Nation, or do you guys disagree with me? Let me know down in the comments below. All right, Raider Nation, that is all I have for you guys today on this episode of Nation Take. Again, if you guys want to get your take on the next episode, I will be putting out a community post on Friday, so look out for that and put your takes in the comments below. If you guys enjoyed the video, don't forget to hit that like button. Let's see if we could get this video to 1,000 likes. And if this is the very first time you're watching this video and you're a Raider fan, then hit that subscribe button, hit that notification icon button just to notify you guys when I upload more videos just like this one. Until the next video, Raider Nation, this is your boy Simone Raider, and your boy is yeah.
And you tell them one thing. Just win, baby.